What's up, everyone on my channel? I am DJ, a black guy. Here for the first time, hit that like button, subscribe button. Truly appreciate it. So I came across this article and I saw a couple reports about this, but it looks like there might be doing another in the series of the 28 weeks 28 days later franchise. Like a third movie might be coming out. I personally think that 28 days later and the sequel 28 weeks later is probably one of the best zombie movies, in the past 20 years. And that's even, beyond the Walking Dead TV shows, I think. I think the concept of how the zombies became zombies in a sense that they're alive, but it's more of a rabies virus kind of thing. So if it's going to happen, that's kind of how it would happen, I think, in real life. And I think the concept of that whole movie and just the story of those two movies are so good. And I would put it in my top three zombie movies of all time, and that in that genre, I guess you would say. Um, but yeah, let's read this article. This is Variety reporting on it. So it might have some credibility behind it. So let's see what they got to say. It says here, third 28 days later film creeps closer as Danny Boyle, Cillian Murphy praise strip idea. It's very appealing. Okay. Interesting, interesting. It goes on to further say Danny Boyle and Alex Garland have floated the idea of making a third 28 Days Later movie for years, but it now seems like the project was is titled 28 Months Later, which would be what, 2 years and a couple months, 2.5 years, is getting closer than ever being real possibility. Both Boyle and his 28 Days Later star Cillian Murphy expressed interest to NME and reuniting with screenwriter Garland for the next chapter in the zombie horror franchise. The duo were being interviewed for 20th anniversary of the original. It's 20 years already since the first one came out. Wow, I am getting old. Yeah, I guess I was in high school when it came out. The first one came out. Every time I do bump into Danny or Alex, I always mention it, Murphy said, about the next film because I showed it to my kids recently from Halloween about 4 or 5 years ago, and they loved it. It really stands up, which is amazing for the film that's 20 years old. So yeah, I love the idea and very appealing to me. Article goes on to further saying, Garland strip for 28 months later was written years ago. Oh, it's been written already. Years ago, Boyle called it a lovely idea, adding, I have been very tempted to direct it. It feels like a very good time, actually. It's funny. I hadn't thought about it until you just said it. I remember Bang, the strip, which is again set in England, very much about England. Anyway, we'll see. Who knows? 28 months later might come back into focus because of the things that happen in business at the moment has been a big reason for you to go to the cinema because there are less and less reasons, Garland continues, probably talking about COVID and that stuff. It's hard for companies distributing films for cinema chains to show films they're struggling. Get people in the cinema unless it's something like Top Gun, Marvick, or Top Gun Maverick or Marvel, but a third part would get people in if it was half decent. I agree. It all depends on the strip. The first one is very good, but the first two I think were very good. 28 Days Later is widely regarded as one of the best horror movies of the 2010s. Murphy plays a bike courier who awakens from a coma, kind of like Walking Dead. I think they stole that idea from them. And in an apocalyptic ruin due to zombie virus. No, it wasn't. I wouldn't call it zombie, more rabies. Anyways, the film made 85 million at worldwide box office at a production budget of only 8 million, so it made a lot of good. It made money. Murphy Boyle set out the 2007 sequel 28 weeks later. Oh, they set out the 2007 sequel 28 weeks later, which was directed by Carlos Fernandez. I butchered that name, but the film kept acclaim high for a zombie franchise. Garland first stirred up the buzz for a third 28 Days Later movie in 2015. So he's been talking about it for a while. He told IGN, we just started talking about it seriously. We got an idea. Danny and the producer and I have had quite serious conversations about it. So it's a possibility. It's complicated. It's more like 28 months than 28 years. 28 months gives you one more place to go. I agree. I think 28 years would be too far of a jump. Giving Murphy is 20 years older now when the first movie opened. Perhaps 28 years later is a route it could take after all. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. like I said, I think the 28 days later and weeks later is probably one of, in my personal opinion, uh top three zombie franchises or way it's done. I think. But yeah, I hope this becomes a thing. Now that movie theaters are open back up, and hopefully, hey, maybe Hulu will pick it up. I mean, Hulu did a good job with the Predator prequel, so maybe if the Hulu can give them the budget for like that. I don't want Netflix to take hold of it. I feel like Netflix has been dropping the ball on a lot of stuff. But hey, if Hulu pick it up and they can do how they promoted Predator, I'm all for it, even though they don't go to theaters. But yeah, I'm here for it. I actually might rewatch those 28 weeks later and 28 days later over the weekend, next couple of weeks. I'm gonna watch. But let me know down below if you have seen both 28 days and weeks later, and what you think about the way it's portrayed. If you think having a third one would be a nice way to just wrap up the whole thing, because as we left off in the second one, the virus had got back out of London and was back all over Europe and everything. I mean, I think we saw one that was in Paris, one of the little clips and everything from the end credit scenes. But yeah, let me know down below what you guys think. Leave a like, leave a comment. Until next time, guys, I will see you when I see you. Peace.